Okay, well, we have a couple new angle pairs here that we need to talk about. So the first one we're going to talk about are called adjacent angles. And if you're sitting in a room right now where there are other people, you may be adjacent to another person, meaning you may be sitting right next to that person. So adjacent simply means that these angles would have to be smack dab right next to each other. So definition says two coplanar angles, so they're in the same plane. They would have a common side. So if this was angle 1 and this was angle 2, their common side would be this one in the middle. They have a common vertex right here, but no common interior point. So this angle here is completely sitting next to this angle here. They don't share any common interior points, so those would be adjacent angles. Vertical angles are two angles whose sides are opposite rays. So if I draw a set of intersecting lines, and this is angle 1 and this is angle 2, this ray here is an opposite ray with this ray here. And this ray here is an opposite ray with this ray here. So by definition, they're straight across from each other. If I were standing here and walked to the vertex and kept walking straight, I would run into that other angle. Two angles whose sides are opposite rays. So those are called vertical angles. Complementary angles are a pair of angles whose sum, they add up to be 90 degrees. And supplementary sum is going to be 180 degrees. The way I like to remember these are alphabetically, C comes before S, just like on the number line, 90 comes before 180. So that's kind of how I remember that. C comes before S, just like 90 comes before 180. So draw a line from each word in column A to the angles it describes in column B. Angle 1 and angle 2, you'll notice if we add those together, they are sitting next to each other, so they could be considered adjacent. They also will add up to be 90 degrees since they're sitting next to this one. So got a couple possibilities there, so let's try 2 and 3. 2 and 3 are definitely sitting next to each other. This one already equals 90, so it's not going to add up to 90, and it's not going to add up to 180. So I think 2 and 3 we're going to say are adjacent. Two and 5, those are straight across from each other. Opposite ray with this opposite ray. Opposite ray with this opposite ray. So 2 and 5 would be considered vertical. 3 and 6. 3, 6, they're definitely opposite each other, so they're vertical. But this one's 90 and this one's also 90, so they're going to add up to 180. So remember, 180 goes with supplementary. And complementary, we said, were exactly what 1 and 2 were. This one here is 90 degrees, so to make that straight line, those two must also add up to 90. So complementary on 1 and 2.